Imagine a school, long abandoned and decaying, suddenly coming back to life, not with the laughter of children, but with something far more sinister. What if the dead still took attendance, and your name was next on their list? This isn't fiction. These are real accounts from those who dared to step into the haunted halls of forgotten schools, where the past refuses to stay buried. The skeletal remains of Riverside Elementary lay silent on the town's edge, a monument to a toxic mold outbreak that had forced its closure in 1999. Boarded windows and a playground consumed with weeds marked its desolation. For 24 years, it festered, a forgotten relic. Then came Ethan Blake, a digital ghost hunter armed with a camera and a thirst for the eerie. His YouTube channel, A Chronicle of Abandoned Places, led him to Riverside one moonless night. The moment he stepped across the threshold, a faint metallic clink 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 resonated from outside, the sound of a flagpole rope striking metal. Yet there was no flag, no wind, and the rope itself had vanished years ago. Ethan paused, a prickle of unease tracing his spine. "That's odd," he muttered, adjusting his camera. Inside the front hall, a carpet of old attendance sheets lay scattered like fallen autumn leaves. As his boot crunched over them, the dormant hallway lights flickered to life, bathing the dust-laden space in an unnatural glow. A crackle from the overhead PA system, then a cheerful, almost saccharine female voice echoed, "Students, please return to your classrooms." Ethan's breath hitched, his blood turning to ice. He pushed deeper, his flashlight beam cutting through the gloom of classrooms frozen in time, overturned desks, textbooks decaying into dust, chalk still clinging to blackboards, as if a lesson had just ended. Suddenly, stark against the faded linoleum, he saw them, fresh, muddy footprints. Small, like those of children leading down the hall. A morbid curiosity compelled him forward, following the tracks to room 12. There, a single desk was pulled out from its companions, isolated. On its surface lay a sheet of paper, today's attendance. Below a list of long-forgotten student names, a fresh, chilling entry had appeared. Ethan B. present. His camera battery, fully charged moments before, died instantly, as if an unseen entity had siphoned its very energy. The classroom doors slammed shut behind him, and then a horrifying symphony began. Desks scraped across the floor, groaning, moving on their own, until they formed neat rows, all facing the chalkboard. The PA voice, now laced with an undeniable chill, reverberated through the room. "We mark the absent. We keep the present." From the hallway, a chorus of children's whispers filled the air. Faint laughter, the patter of tiny feet, soft taps on the walls. The classroom lights extinguished one by one, plunging Ethan into near darkness. Tiny silhouettes materialized in the doorway, their features obscured, indistinct. Panic seizing him, he kicked at the window, shattering the glass, and dove through, shards cutting into his arms. He scrambled to his feet, sprinting for the front door, but compulsion made him glance back, just for a second. Dozens of ghostly students, their forms shimmering faintly, stood in the hallway, watching his desperate escape. The next morning, police discovered his camcorder outside the school. The last shot, captured in its digital memory, showed the attendance sheet again. Next to his name, in stark red ink, someone had chillingly written, "Do not release."
Next, we ventured to another abandoned educational facility, where the lines between the living and the spectral blurred, creating a chilling encounter for one unsuspecting security guard. The small town of Alton, Illinois, had long since shut down Franklin Middle School due to a chemical spill, leaving the building a decaying shell. To secure it before demolition, the district hired private contractors. Among them was Maria Lopez, assigned to the daunting night shift, her task to deter trespassers and vandals. On her very first night, a faint phantom class bell echoed through the desolate halls, despite the power having been cut years ago. Maria dismissed it as her mind playing tricks in the oppressive silence. "Just the wind, probably," she mumbled. continuing her patrol. But then, a classroom door, previously sealed, stood slightly ajar, emitting a dim, warm light. Her heart quickened. Inside, rows of tiny chairs were meticulously arranged, and on the whiteboard, a lesson plan was freshly written. Substitute today, Ms. Lopez. Maria froze. No one in this town, let alone this abandoned school, knew her name. As she cautiously stepped inside, the lights flickered violently, then plunged the room into shadow. A figure materialized at the teacher's desk, tall, unnaturally thin, clad in an old-fashioned cardigan. Its face, however, was a terrifying void, utterly blank save for a wide, grotesquely deep smile carved into the skin. "You're late," it whispered, its voice a chilling, feminine rasp. Maria stumbled back, but the door behind her slammed shut with a thunderous finality. The child-sized desks began to shake, their legs tapping against the floor like dozens of impatient fingers. The figure rose from the desk, its limbs stretching, elongating with a sickening crack, and began to glide toward her. "Don't leave your class unattended," it hissed, its smile widening impossibly. Terror overriding reason, Maria grabbed a nearby chair and hurled it through the window, scrambling through the jagged opening into the hallway. But her escape offered no respite. Every classroom door now bore a freshly printed paper, "Teacher of Record, Maria Lopez." As she desperately ran towards the exit, fire alarms blared, lockers slammed open and shut with percussive force, and the loudspeaker crackled to life, playing a distorted children's choir, their disembodied voices singing, "Stay with us, Ms. Lopez." She burst into the pre-dawn light, gasping for air just as the sun began to peek over the horizon. When police returned with her an hour later, the school was dead again. Dark, empty, cold. But one chilling detail made every officer recoil in fear. The classroom where it all transpired now had a brand new attendance list taped outside the door. Under "Instructor," scrawled in an unnervingly neat hand, was the permanent assignment. Ms. Lopez, permanently assigned.
Finally, we delve into the most terrifying scenario of all. A high school consumed by fire, where the missing students refuse to leave. Crestwood High was a once thriving institution, abruptly sealed after a violent electrical fire ripped through its holes in 2011. Everyone evacuated, save for 3 unfortunate students who were never accounted for. For years, the building remained an eerie tomb, but locals whispered of flickering lights on the 3rd floor, appearing on their own late at night. In 2024, a brave documentary crew secured permission to film inside the abandoned structure. On their first day, despite the building's power being completely severed, the elevator doors slid open of their own accord, and the button for the 3rd floor eerily illuminated. Anyone else think this is a bit, on the nose? One crew member quipped nervously. The crew entered cautiously. The hallway was a charred testament to the blaze, blackened with soot. Yet hallway 300 stood in pristine contrast. Clean floors, shining lockers, utterly devoid of dust. A soft, almost electrical buzzing emanated from the far end, like a dormant current attempting to reawaken. As they moved toward it, a strange vibration pulsed beneath their feet, a sensation almost like the floor itself was breathing. A classroom door abruptly slammed open, and from within, a girl's voice screamed, "Help us!" Inside, the room was miraculously untouched by fire. 3 desks perfectly clean. On each desk lay a melted phone, unmistakably belonging to one of the missing students. Then with a blinding flash, the lights in hallway 300 snapped on. The hallway behind them was no longer empty. It was lined with students, burned silhouettes, standing shoulder to shoulder, their forms flickering like broken holograms, watching silently. One by one, they slowly raised their arms, pointing toward the far end of the hall. The buzzing intensified, transforming into a deafening roar as a massive electrical surge burst from the ceiling, coiling and shaping itself into a towering figure composed of raw wires, crackling sparks, and static electricity.
Its face was a silent scream of pure agony. The crew panicked, turning to run, but every exit they tried inexplicably looped them back to hallway 300, as if the building itself was twisting and folding around them. Their cameras captured the raw terror, but the audio picked up something far more chilling. Two ghostly, ethereal arms reached out from within, grabbing at his backpack, trying to drag him back into the inferno. The building was sealed permanently after that, a chilling morning. No demolition crew has ever dared to agree to enter its cursed walls. Locals say that late at night, you can still hear 3 students, their voices faint and distant, calling roll, present, still here, still waiting, and they might just be waiting for you. From forgotten attendance sheets to spectral substitutes and the echoing cries of the lost, these abandoned schools hold secrets that defy explanation. Are these simply tragic memories clinging to brick and mortar, or are they something far more sinister, entities that refuse to let go, forever trapped in their final lessons? The next time you pass an abandoned building, remember these stories and ask yourself, is it truly empty, or is something waiting to take attendance?